Now you can read the Hangeul. You can 100% read the Hangeul. Hello everyone, it's Stacy, your Korean friend. If you've watched and studied the first and second steps of Hangeul and finally landed here today, congratulations, because you're only one step away from fully mastering Hangeul. So in this video, we'll be learning the 7 double vowels and the last ending consonant called the 받침. So remember, these are the basic vowels we've learned so far, right? And we will learn the last 7 of the double vowels. So we will use this second line here. These are already combinations of this with like the sky, remember? So these we are not going to use. We will only use the top line here, the basic vowels, and we will combine 2 to make one syllable. So for example, let's start with these 2 here, and we will use iung, the space holder. So wa, o and a, so wa, quickly to make one syllable, wa, right? So it's like wa sound, wa. And now here, wo, right? Wo. Maybe like this sound. And if you notice here, whenever you have a horizontal vowel and vertical vowel, we always put the horizontal vowel first. So it's always horizontal, vertical, right? Okay. And the next one we have is this way here. So this is we, right? So we. We means why in Korean. So it's like we. And you're now seeing the pattern here, right? So here is we. So we. Okay, so another thing, if you notice, is here, whenever you have u and another vowel, this last vowel goes kind of underneath the u. So if you write this way, the people will know how to read it, but this is not the correct way. So this all should go underneath the u. Okay, so same here. All right, and then, so the next one we will look at is actually combined with this e here. And which are these 2? So this one and this one. So with o, it's we. We. Be careful, it's not oi. This is o, this is e, but it's not pronounced as oi. It's we. And this u and e, it's ui quickly, so we. This is like maybe like this. Okay. And finally, the last one we have here is this and this together. So this is probably one of the most difficult syllables to pronounce. It's ui, quickly, ui. Okay, so now we have these 7 new double vowels here. But did you notice something funny? Maybe if you have very sensitive ears, you try to listen carefully and try to make sense of the sounds, but these just simply sound the same. This, and this, right? Even though I tried to write it differently. Remember last time when we looked at the vowels like this again? This, yeah, and this year, I said, even though they're written differently, unless your dream is to be like the TV news announcer in Korea, you don't have to try to differentiate the sounds, is what I told you, right? So again, the same way here. So this, we, you can all pronounce it the same way. We. But when you're writing them, just like these two, here also, when you're writing, you have to write them correctly. They can't replace one another because they have different meanings, obviously. So when you're writing, remember the spelling, but when you're just speaking, you can just simply say we for these three. And just the last one, this one here, it was not oi, right? It was we. So I think it's easier if you just remember this 1, 2, 3, same pronunciation, the same way, right? We, right? Okay, now that clears our vowels completely. Done. So you have finally mastered the Hangeul vowels. So before we move on to the consonants, let's see if we can read these words here. 돼지. This was we, right? So 돼지. 돼지. 돼지 means pig. This we, G means mouse. This, remember, this was the we sound again, right? Same sound as this. We, so 회사 means office or company. Remember this sound? I said it was the same sound as this one here, we, right? So with the hit, it's 회사 means company. And next one here is something we eat almost every day. 사과 means apple. This 의자 means a chair. This, we already did this, right? Why? So now you can read almost all Korean words, but we have the last final consonant, so we will move straight on to that. Now that we have all the vowels out of the way, let's look at the final consonants called 받침. If you remember in the first video when I talked about putting syllables in a box, we had two boxes. One was consonant, vowel, right? And the next one was consonant and vowel like this. So this is what we're used to seeing, but now we will just add one more consonant, which is 받침, the final consonant, and they go here or here. So it's another consonant like this, right? So it means we have 4 different types of boxes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So we will look at the final combination of Korean words. So out of the 19 consonants we've learned so far, 3 double consonants, 쌍디귿, 쌍비읍, and 쌍지읒, are not used as the final consonants, 받침. So let me get these out of the way. So we will be using all the rest, 16 consonants, to use as 받침. Actually, the 받침s may sound a little different from how these consonants are used in the beginning of a syllable, so I divided them into how it sounds. So the first one we will look at are actually these 3 is one set. So I'll just use the simple a ak, ak, ak. So remember the 받침's go underneath the basic syllable. So ak, ak, ak. So they all have ak, ak. Not quite K, but not quite G. So kind of in between ak, ak, ak sound. So I will just write K, like sound. Okay. And this nian also used as 받침. And I will also use a, an. Remember this nian is like N sound. Also here the same an, an, an. So same sound. And the third sound is actually the biggest group, which is this here and these here, and this here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All these have like the T sound. So again, I'll write them. At, at, at. Well, this one too. At, 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 and at. They all are written differently, and again, they all have different meanings. So when you write them out, you have to use the right spelling. But when you say it, they all have like the T ending sound. So at. Okay. So a little easier now, right? Because we have a big group of the same sounds. And the rest of them actually all have different sound. So let's start with the 리을. 알. Remember, 리을 was neither L nor R, so it was kind of in between sound. So here also it's 알, 알, 알. But after saying 알, your tongue kind of touches the middle part of the top of your mouth. Not behind your front teeth, but like the middle part of your ceiling of your mouth. So 알, 알, 알. And this mium is like M sound, right? So here too, am. And the next one, piup or piup, ap, ap. Also, it has about P sound. So if you notice, these, when they're used as 받침, they have a little stronger sound, right? So up, up. So up, up. Okay, and this last one we have here, this is the space holder, right? But it's also used as 받침. The sound it makes is ang, ang. So this alone was a, right? A. And when you put ing at the end, ang, so it has that sound. So ang, ang. Okay, so these are all the basic 받침s and the way they sound. Just when you thought we were done with Hangeul finally, we just have one last thing. The highlight of this video is, maybe you're confused. Maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe should put two consonants just together too closely. Actually, these are also double consonant 받침. So we have a combination of these different consonants and 11 of them. And these are all also used as a 받침 as well as what we just looked at earlier. But I will tell you a simple way to try to pronounce them and try to differentiate them. So these double consonant 받침s are basically divided into two groups, like this. The ones with 리을 and the ones without 리을. So let's start with the ones without 리을. because all these, it can be very confusing to read because you don't know which one to say, right? But these you always say the first consonant. So I'll just write down some words to tell you how you can actually read them. So, 나. So even though it has 기역, 시옷, you can just simply say it like you only see 기역. So, 나, right? This one, I'll write down the word 앉다. 앉다. It means to sit. Here also, just pretend you don't see this 찌읒, you just see this ni은, so it's 앉다. Okay, and this one here too. 앉다. Oh, yeah. So because you are only gonna pronounce the first consonant and just ignore the second part, this one, even though they are written differently, they sound the same. 앉다. But as I told you many times before, they mean different things because they are different spellings. So this 앉다 is 앉다, it's not something. So it means not, and this means to sit. Okay, so all these without deal, you would just say the first consonant. Okay. Now moving on to the second section, the ones with deal. But this group also is divided into two like this. This first part, you would pronounce the first consonant, which is deal that you see, right? So again here, I'll just give you some examples of words. So this one, 넓다. 넓다 means to be big or wide. So 넓다. Here too, 넓다. So you can just say the deal. And this one here, it's a little more complicated. 외골. Also, no, this one, 외골. And this one, 핥다 means to lick. So when you have a puppy or something, or like cat, right? 핥다. And this last one is 잃다. 잃다 means to lose something. So as you notice, a lot of these are verbs. So 잃다. So all these four, you just say the deal 받침, right? So 넓다, 외골, 핥다, 잃다, right? And maybe you understand the second section, right? This is the first deal, so these are right, the second consonants. You pronounce the second consonants here. So again, I will write down some words. This means to read. 읽다. And 담다. 담다 is to be similar to something, to look alike or to be similar. And the next one is up다. P was like the P sound, right? So up다 is like recite. So recite a poem. So recite. A lot of times when I tell my students these, they get so confused. And they're like, I I don't want to do this anymore, right?
Oh my goodness, how did I forget? I said 11 and I only wrote down 10 on the board. So the last one we have is piup siut, which is used with words like 없다. 없다 means there's no. So it's used quite often and it's piup siut, so the piup is pronounced. So 없다, 없다.
But I don't think you have to really worry about these that much yet if you're just beginning, because these fortunately are not used so much in Korean. And when you see them, just try to remember these 3 different sections, then you will probably be able to read them. But I think the best way to remember these is probably when you are memorizing the words and you see these double 받침s, then you just remember how it sounds at that time instead of trying to memorize 기역, 시옷, 기역 sound, and 리을, 피읍, the 리을 sound, 리을, 미음, the 미음 sound. No, it's really hard. It's going to be so complicated when you try to remember each one of them that way. So I think the best way to remember these is to just remember the words. Remember how the words sound whenever you see them. So if you are not at the point where you've seen any of these complicated 받침s yet, that just probably means that you don't really have to memorize these just yet. So you will probably eventually come across these. Then that's probably your time to try to remember these. Okay? Good job! Congratulations! So if you have been with me from the beginning till now, learning Hangeul, good job! You have completed the Hangeul course. You know, some people say that it only took them 2 to 3 hours to learn Hangeul, and others say that it took them like a week or 2 or even a month to master Hangeul. I don't think it depends on like how much effort you put into it or how good your memory is. It usually takes a little time to fully master and remember Hangeul because it's probably the writing system that you're not very used to, right? So if you don't remember everything you've learned and if you can't read everything in Korean, it's okay because it will take time, and as time goes on and as you learn to speak with reading, then you will pick them up and remember so much quickly and so much easier. So don't worry, don't be so harsh on yourself and you feel like I'm obligated to remember all these. No, you don't have to do that. So take it easy. But I want to help you to remember these because especially in this video, it was a little complicated, right? So I again included the worksheet down below in the description box. So please use that to practice writing Hangeul, right? And it'll help you to remember a little better. And of course, when you're practicing, when you're writing, say it out loud too, so you know exactly, you remember exactly how they sound. Okay, and if this video was helpful, and if you haven't yet, please don't forget to subscribe and leave thumbs up and keep your notification bell on so you will be notified when I drop another helpful video like this in the future. Have fun! 안녕!